Hi, and welcome to the Father-Daughter Experience. I'm Cesare.
And I'm Celia.
And today, in case you can't tell by the background, we're going to talk a little bit about something that we feel pretty passionate about, which is holiday Christmas parties. We're going to cover a lot of different things. We're going to talk about games. We're going to talk about themes. We're going to talk about food. We're just going to kind of go all over the place.
Don'ts. Yays, nays.
What are your favorite
Slays.
things that you have come across when you've been hanging out with your friends, hanging out with your family, or going to things you feel obligated to go to, like sometimes company Christmas parties,
Everything.
which are you need to come to this, otherwise it will reflect poorly upon
Everyone
you.
will be talking shit about you in the virtual office on Monday.
The virtual office. Oh gosh, yeah. Most of my Christmas parties came from the office, were back in the day when we actually had to go into the office. So since we segued that way, here's what I'm going to say about office Christmas parties.
Say it.
I think they're never a good thing.
Are we starting with offices?
Let's start with offices.
All right.
Because these are from my past. I
Yeah.
haven't had one of
All
these in a long time.
You first.
So I will say they have never been good. I mean, usually they make for a good story as long as you are somebody who, maintains your cool, doesn't lose your mind, doesn't get out of control. But there's always somebody that does, right? There's that person that totally loses their mind, drinks too much, gets messed up. I had an
I've got
office
some
party.
stories.
Yeah, so I will tell you my favorite office party story. We went to a nice restaurant. This was when I worked in Maine. There was an open bar for the first hour, which is right there, mistake number one. You either have an open bar, which you should just never do, period. But if you do it, you cannot do it where you basically tell people drink as much as possible in the fastest amount of time, because after an hour, you're going to pay for your own drinks. Everybody's just going to get hammered super fast. And that's what happened. And long story short, one of the people I worked with decided he thought it would be a really good idea to fake wrestle with another guy that he worked with, who was essentially thought of as being the strongest guy in our office. And as he tried to attack the strong guy in the office, leapt at him, missed, and knocked over an entire wine rack.
Oh my God.
Cost the company, I think the result was like $30,000 in damages, like basically broken wine, damages. And this guy was proud of it. He actually showed us that the company started deducting money out of his paycheck to basically like, for as long as you work here, you're paying us back, like slowly, like
Sure.
$100 at a time.
Yeah,
but like,
but
we're taking
still.
this money from
Yep.
you, asshole. So that's probably the best boy, are you fucked up Christmas party story. What's yours?
I guess I'm newer to the having like work party scene and being able to drink at them too. But I would say I think my most notable memory would be last year around November, December, I flew out to Arizona at the company I used to work at.
Sure.
And one, I had spent the night prior in the emergency room
I recall.
because I had a cyst rupture on one of my ovaries, and it was crazy, and it was some of the worst pain I've ever been in my whole life.
I think that was one of those times I was happy. If you don't have this feature on your phone, public service announcement, if you have loved ones and you have your phone on, have Do Not Disturb, because I think I got a phone call from you at like 2:15 in the morning. 4 in the morning.
It was 4 in the morning because I woke up at 3 and was in so much pain and was like, I think I should just go back to bed. I think I just got to keep sleeping this off. And I woke up less than an hour later and was like, hello, Father. I think I need to go to the ER. So I'd been in the ER and I'd gotten all my treatment, whatever. And I'd spent the day prior in my hotel room. Basically, I like half-ass worked like a half day and then was like, I'm not even conscious. I'm on painkillers. And
Right. And any real employer would have told you just like,
well, they
oh,
should have
geez.
just told me to take the day off, but
Right.
they didn't do that. And that's probably why I don't work there anymore. But
Correct. One of the many reasons.
One of the many reasons. So the next day I work like half the day with my boss and I'm like really out of it. Like we're really barely working.
Right.
We have lunch, whatever. We're having a good time. I go home to the hotel and I change, I get ready. And I actually really liked a lot of my coworkers at this job.
Right.
So the parties, that was like the biggest perk of getting flown out was I would get to see all these people I really liked.
That you would usually only interact with virtually because most of them
because
were
most
based
of
in
them
Arizona.
were in Arizona and I was
you're
in
in Texas.
Austin. So we get to the party and it starts really fun and like spirals wildly out of control by the end. So we had rented out a section of a restaurant.
Right.
And we had a set amount of time there and a set amount we had to spend.
Oh, right. You had I recall that you telling me this story.
So
Because you had helped plan it.
No.
But you knew, but you knew that
but
you
I
knew
knew
what it was required.
Yeah. So we get there and I'm, not on as many pills and drugs as I was before. So I was like, I can have like a drink or two. So like I get my drink, whatever. As the night goes on, we have like White Elephant, and the gifts are all over the place, which we'll talk about White Elephant in a little bit.
Let's do that next.
But the gifts are all over the place. It's like, I think our cap was like $30. So I had brought a bunch of like things from Texas,
right?
Like liquors and Sotol and like a little Texas shot glass and some like tiny little sriracha little bottles from like Yellow Bird. I think that's the company.
You brought.
Anyway, so I brought like a cute little
Austin
Texas thing to be like these aren't things you guys can get here. And then other people bought like huge cases of like expensive liquor and stuff. And I was like, there's no way this was $30.
Right.
But other people brought like gag gifts. So like I ended up going home with like a Maraca cocktail shaker.
Oh, that's right. I saw that in your apartment.
Yeah, it is in my apartment still. I've never used it. Anyway, so we do that. Everybody's getting like really drunk. And then one of the wait staff comes over and basically tells the CEO, who I'm like sitting next to, him and his wife and our comptroller, and we're all talking. And he's like, hey, you guys are like $3,000 off your minimum. So what my boss does is he orders the like highest end shots for everybody. And he like and then he just tells me and like some of the other people like order whatever, just keep ordering it.
Right.
So we're
gonna pay our way through this.
Yeah. So what happens is like by like hour 3 of this party, and I think we only had the place for like 4 maybe 5 hours. People are getting like slammed.
Right now it's just getting
because
aggressive.
Now it's just like take a shot, take another shot, take another shot. Right. And me and my other friend were both like on medication and had been in like the hospital that week.
What's
and we're
really
like,
stupid about
what
that
the hell is happening?
If you were going to be at that level, what you probably should have just done is what you see like when you don't obviously read a lot of sports websites, but
no, I'm not known for that.
No. But what you'll see occasionally on some of them is like somebody who's a server at like this bar or this nightclub in Vegas or this strip club here or there. They'll post like, here's the receipt from this night.
Yeah, sure.
Right?
Yep.
After the Super Bowl, these guys went out to this bar and they bought like this many bottles of Don Julio, right? But that's what your company should have done. They should have just been like, look, what's the nicest bottle of champagne you have? Is that $2,000? Like, bring that out here, or bring us 4 bottles of that type of champagne. Like, it would have been smarter to do the math that way than just being like, let's see if we can incrementally drink our way up to $3,000 when there's like 20 people there.
Our company was small. We were, I think at that point we were at like 25 total employees, and I think 22 of them or so were there.
I think I know where this story continues to go, but go on.
Well, really, it's more just like, I'm not going to say, like, when I first ever flew out to Arizona and we had, like, a Cinco de Mayo party, after, like, the executive team left, we got a little messy, like, that first time, because it was just, like, the young people in the company left over, and we were playing trivia, and, like, there was still a tab open for us that our boss was like, I mean, be responsible,
locals,
but you guys can keep drinking.
Right.
Well, yeah.
The locals, you're going to Uber home. You had a hotel room.
Yes. So I was like, and I was flying home the next day.
Sure,
so
drink responsibly, kids.
Drink responsibly, and I Ubered
Not
home.
kids,
Adults,
folks.
Yeah. Like at the Cinco de Mayo party, totally. As soon as my bosses were all gone, but my bosses would overdrink, so it would sort of be like I can't be any more embarrassing than these like 50 and 60-year-olds on my team.
Can I lead into something here? Because I might be remembering this wrong.
Go ahead.
I'm remembering it correctly.
Are you talking about the Christmas party?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like this, the same party you're talking about with the label. Doesn't somebody, an adult or maybe an owner, end up like in a wagon?
Yes, my boss's wife ends up in a wagon with like liquor and other gifts and stuff, and
being
she's
told
like,
wheel me home.
Yeah, wheel me home, like wheel me out. And then they're like, no, ha ha ha, get out of the wagon. And she's like, no, you're gonna wheel me home. And it was like, what the hell is happening? I was like, what the hell is happening? So eventually, our one of our exec team members got them out,
got them into a
and then the rest of us were kind of all like, well, are we going somewhere else? And then we tried to go to like another like bar after that, but like every other bar we tried was like busy because it was also like Christmas time season.
Other people are having Christmas
Other people
parties.
are having Christmas
Lots
parties.
of other people are just out drinking after shopping.
Yes, and there was like something else going on in Phoenix that like weekend. So it was also like we were competing against that. So then the night kind of just ended on like a weird off note.
Every warm weather city in the winter has something going on every weekend.
Yeah, no, right.
Like, it's
so
just because that's where everybody wants to be.
So it was really fun, but I think, and so we can move on from this into White Elephant in just a second. But yeah, I just think it's sort of funny when I think when you're younger, there's a lot of pressure to maintain at least some air of like professionalism in those situations. I mean, obviously, like once my managers are gone.
To a point, like you said, once they all leave, and then it's like, hey, it's all the under 30s.
Well, it's something that's always been a little weird about the space I've worked in, and this could be something we talk about later, but I'll just make a quick note about it, is that a lot of my managers in my career so far have been close in age to me, so it's a little weird because I'm like, well, in theory, we could go out and party.
I'm 24, but my boss is 27.
26. Yeah. So I'm like, it's weird because in theory, like we could totally go out and like club. Like lots of my friends here in town are in their 30s.
I'm okay here. You're the person that's in charge.
Right. I'm
so
like, I don't think you should be.
If you were better at your job, you would have excluded yourself from this situation.
Yeah. Or stepped away once you were like, I might be drinking a little bit too much. So
exactly.
Anyway. Okay. So we both have. The
moral
of the story is try not to be have fun, but try not to be too messy.
Be the person that gets to tell the stories. Don't be the person
that doesn't remember them.
No. Don't be the person that the stories are being told about.
Yeah.
I think that's the general rule of thumb.
Yes, I would agree with that.
I mean, I feel like we could probably do like 4 episodes on like just shit we've experienced. But okay, so let's talk about something that happens a lot at these parties, right? I've been to some. Your mother gets real like heated about some of this stuff too, because she's been to a few of these where she's just like, your mother likes rules more than I do, but we both appreciate that it's like, if you're going to do something, say you're going to do it and do it the right way. Now, there's 2 things. We grew up in New England. Mm-hmm. So in New England, they're called a Yankee swap. Like that's usually what happens at a Christmas party. Now we've been exposed in the Midwest and now here in Texas to the idea of like a white elephant. Now, to me, a Yankee swap is the kind of thing where you say like, hey, there's a whole bunch of us in the family. And I grew up in a big family and we had a lot of people around. That would be the kind of thing where it's like, I can't buy gifts for 30 people. So a Yankee swap was a way of, here's $100, spend $100 or $50, whatever the agreed upon amount of money is. Get one really good gift, right? Going back to your bucket of booze, right? Mm-hmm. Easiest out is I bought 5 really nice bottles of wine. It was $100, right? Yeah. So these are 5 decent bottles of wine or decent bottles of bourbon, whatever. The Yankee swap, the idea was basically, everybody puts their gifts into a pile.
Yeah.
Nobody is set buying it for anyone specific. You're just like, this is my contribution to the pile.
Right.
And then people pull numbers. And then you would basically go in sequential order. I'm number 1, which is essentially the shittiest of all picks. Like you want to get later picks because essentially what happens is I pick number 1, I pick a gift, I open it up. That's my gift. Mm-hmm. I get an opportunity to trade that later on. But essentially it goes through and everybody buys a gift. And then if you see something better, you can swap.
Yeah.
And so you can go and steal someone else's gift. So people get super mad because they get something they really like and then it goes away. So Yankee swaps, I think, are cool ideas. But as long as everybody understands the rules and nobody fucks it up by throwing in I happen to have this limited edition bottle of like.
There shouldn't be an outlier gift.
Correct.
That like then it becomes like everybody wants it. Everybody's gonna vie for it. Everybody's gonna throw off the fun of the game.
Everybody was
instead of it being like, oh shit, like I actually really like. I've been talking about wanting like a throw blanket and a candle. Like those are very innocuous things, but like they're cozy, good, feel good items for the holidays.
Not that we're sponsored by it at all, but it'd be like, oh, hey, I brought a big blanket and that's $279. Well, the cap was $100.
What the hell are you doing?
Like, why did you buy that? Or like, oh, I work at Uber and I have a $250 Uber gift card because like I could buy those for like half price. It's like, yes, you got it for $125, but the value has now outlasted everybody else's, and it's going to cause some problems.
Yes.
Now let's talk about white elephant and your experience with white elephant parties.
Well, I hate them. I hate white elephant. I don't like doing them. I don't feel like anybody has the same definition of them. And then they're never clear, and nobody ever, 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 ever adheres to the monetary amount cap.
Okay, so let's
Okay,
let's
so let's
go
set
with
it up.
what let's
So
set it up. What do you what is your understanding?
My
of
understanding of a white elephant, not that this is always how I encounter it, is that you and all your friends come together and you're all supposed to bring a kitschy, shitty, weird gift.
Yes.
Or funny gift or gag gift wrapped up nice.
Right.
And then everybody puts all their stuff, similar to the Yankee Swap, like on a table or in a basket. And then you go one by one in an order. And then I pick a gift. Then if you're next, you can either take my gift or you can open a new one.
Right.
And then so on and so forth. And then if my gift gets stolen, then I get to open a new one before we go to the next person in the order.
Right.
Or I can also steal.
Sure.
Sometimes people set the rules that an item can only be like stolen twice, which is nice because then it's like, okay, we're not continuously shuffling shit around.
Not going for the $279 big blanket.
Exactly. But I've realized that at least in Texas, I feel like in Minnesota, people were pretty good about the kitschy part or like the funny part.
I will say
here.
I agree with that. That in Minnesota, it
seemed like that was understood.
They kind of got it. Maybe Minnesotans, maybe Midwesterners just don't have good taste in gifts. But I mean, we'll assume that they know what was going on.
I have found in Austin the white elephants I've done, but I will give a good example after my negative one because I actually just went to a Christmas party where we did basically a book white elephant, and it was actually really fun. And I ended up with a book I've always wanted to read.
Sure.
So I'll give that example in a second, but. I've found a lot, both at work ones and friend ones in town, that people just end up getting you house filler stuff because usually the cap is $20 to $30. So then it's a candle, a snow globe, a succulent, a Starbucks gift card.
That's shit.
Liquor.
I feel like if somebody puts just a regular everyday gift card into the mix, it's like.
Well, you better be quiet because that's what I did.
No. Are you serious? Was it a bad gift card? You put a Starbucks gift card in?
Yeah.
To a white elephant?
Yeah.
You're not my child. I'm so disappointed. I did not think this is where the story was going. I
literally called you and mom and said, "What should I get?" Wow.
But for
so you
elephant?
hate your wife too then because it was your wife's suggestion.
Do you not yes?
Yeah, and liquor.
You can whisper.
I got liquor and a gift card. And a gift card.
Oh, okay. So nip bottles
and a gift card
off camera. Nip bottles in a stocking. But see, even that to me isn't necessarily kitschy or junk.
But that wasn't the point. I already knew it wasn't a kitschy or junk one. Okay. I would have brought a kitschy junk thing.
Okay, continue.
I just got gifted an exit sign from Schlitterbahn by two of my friends. So.
Okay, it's fair enough. Continue your
story.
We digress.
But I went home with a s'mores kit.
Okay. I mean, I think if
it was really cute and I like it and the chocolate was really good and stuff, but I just think it's hard because I feel like a lot of white elephants, when you don't have the kitschy element, end up being
just cheap
food
gifts.
And candy or things you could buy at the little Target gift section. Not necessarily.
You want people to embrace
it almost feels like you need an additional theme, like workout items or kitchen appliances something that ties your group together. So then at least everybody is maybe getting something or can vie for something they want. Somebody brought running gloves. I want those.
Right.
I don't know.
There's this time that your mother went to one of these white elephant parties. And I think this was one of the more egregious times where your mother came back from this party and she was just really aggravated. I think she actually texted me during the party. I wasn't there. I wasn't invited.
I think it was in our group chat. I think it was oh my God, what the fuck?
Yes.
With no further context until later.
It was very much I'm so pissed because your mother went to this white elephant party and she kept it pretty simple. She brought a bottle of Patron and that was kind of this isn't such a bad gift. But the cool part was she had brought these very kitschy, Texas-y shot glasses to this party. And so she goes and it's yeehaw and giddy up and this, the big Texas star and whatever else. $50 is essentially roughly the cap of where they're going with this.
Sure.
And so your mother's like 50-50 on the booze to glass ratio. She gets there, and the thing she was super pissed about was the people that were there that were participating all actually went in the other direction. She said multiple people had basically brought in like, oh, here's an item. It's like $200. Here's this other item. It's like really expensive. So you go in with the, I'm following the rules. I'm bringing this gift in. I'm also going like silly and kitschy. It turned out like hers was actually one of the more popular gifts, even though it wasn't like egregiously expensive, because it was actually part of the idea, right? It was kitschy. It was fun. It was neat.
Yes.
Like you weren't going to get this, this wasn't like local. So you weren't going to get these like really easily. So it was kind of like that'd be super neat. I want that.
Yeah.
But I think this is one of those scenarios where it's just like, if you're not on the same page on these things, don't fucking do it. Like,
yes, I agree.
Just don't do it. And
it's annoying.
Now more than ever with Evites, I mean, maybe we can go to themes next to talk, but I think with parties, if you're going to do these types of things, if you're going to do themes, I would rather you lay out the rules, lay out the expectations, and, request that people stick to them so that you avoid these types of scenarios where like people are after the fact are like, boy, did that suck? Boy, do I not want to go back to a party at this house again. Like, boy, do I not ever want to go to another white elephant for as long as I live. And if somebody says there's a white elephant on my party, or a white elephant is part of the party, we're not going. Yeah. So,
well, so I will say, just to sort of wrap it up with a positive one, is the party I just went to actually last night. My friend Chelsea it was like book themed. So everybody brought a book wrapped up. And then you put like hints about like what the book was.
Sure.
So then we all got our numbers and we all went around. And instead of like keeping and opening the book for yourself, you got to give the book to somebody else in the circle based off of like the descriptors. So some of them are really detailed.
You would pick
off
a
book
pile,
when it was your turn.
Would read the description.
Yep. And then you would pick somebody who didn't have a book in the circle and you'd give it to them.
Okay.
And then when it came to their turn, if they had a book, they could either give their book to somebody else or they could pick a new book from the pile and hand it off to somebody.
Sure.
And then eventually their stealing got implemented. But it was really fun.
Did anybody get their own book gifted to them?
No, we could prevent it. Because there were a couple times people tried to give me my books, and I was like, no.
That's mine.
Yeah, that's mine. I'm not going to take it back.
Yeah, sure.
I already own enough books I'm not going to read.
Right.
But it was really fun. So, like, I ended up with, I think Chelsea's clue on the book was, like, the blueprint, the moment, gay. And I was like, yep, I'm going to want that book. So I was like hunting it down the whole night. And then it ended up being Interview with a Vampire by Anne Rice, which is a book I've always wanted to read.
Okay.
So like I ended up with a book that I wanted. And lots of people actually ended up with things that they were really excited about, like cookbooks or like coffee books or like graphic novels. Like it was actually really cool because everybody's personalities were reflected in the things that they brought.
Sure.
But they were also like good books and something that like everyone was kind of excited about at the end of the night.
That's cool. No, that is a neat way of
so
doing
I think
it.
that's like a good way to do it too, of like the pressure even of like eliminating like other gift groups. Like of just being like, just bring a book. And it doesn't even have to be like a brand new book. Like bring a book you don't want anymore. Bring a book you found at half price books.
Sure.
Bring a good book. Bring a bad book.
Well, then that allows you to actually, like you said, flex your personality a little bit. Like, what do you want to bring? Do you want to bring a smutty romance novel? Do you want to bring like a YA fiction?
I brought a true crime story, and I brought a smutty Hades X Persephone book.
Yeah. So no,
it was really fun.
But that's it, right? Like, so somebody ends up with it, and either they're like, you know what, I'll read this, I will get back to you, like I'll tell you my thoughts, or they're just like, okay, this is kind of silly and ridiculous. But no, I like that idea.
Yeah. So themes.
Yeah, I think for me, for the themes for some of these parties, I like it when people assign a theme to a party. I like when they tell you this is what we're going to do. As long as people buy into it, I
agree completely. You got to be in with the theme. Don't half-ass it.
Don't come and be like, I came to the party, but I didn't have time to do X, Y, Z.
Oh my God! That's how I feel about Halloween parties and any holiday in the latter half of the year that there's a dress code for. Go to the dress code. Even if you're coming from work, like put like a headband on, do something silly.
You can very easily
have something in your car to change into.
Nobody says you have to be a 10. on the scale of effort. Right?
I say.
No. I'm not saying you're not that person because you like a theme and you're going to over embellish whatever your look is. But I'm saying,
wow,
you can because you want to. No,
wow,
it's not a
typical man.
Shot. It's not a shot.
Saying shit.
I do the same thing. I don't go to a lot of parties, but your mother and I like to dress up for things. I'm saying if you're going to go to something, even if you're going to go to something last minute, why are you making faces?
I'm just listening.
The only times your mother and I have gone to themed parties, we have actually spent our time and effort and energy into them.
Yeah. Sure.
Mickey's Halloween party, the only holiday
well, I
party.
also turned out a look for that.
The only holiday party that I've gone to in Texas, where not only did we dress to the theme, I wore a woman's like small dress, which ended up being like a shirt on me, and then like some Christmas pajama leggings. That used to be
on my T-Rex.
I think it's in the closet. I think we just unburied it, but it's like we will go full theme. But I think what we're saying is if you show up at one of these parties and you can't even be bothered, to your point, to find some reindeer antlers at Target for like $3 on your way over, when you probably are also the same person that's bringing a shitty white elephant gift, don't go to the party.
Yeah, I
just
agree.
fucking stay home.
Yeah, I agree.
So I don't think we have to go too deep into themes, because I think they kind of align to the whole white elephant party. If you're going to do it right, do it properly, because that ends up being the more fun bit for everyone.
For sure. I agree.
Yeah.
Well, the holidays are fun. I think you just got to make sure you're having fun with it. Have a good time, be involved.
Yeah, it really should just be about, spending time,
be
seeing
cognizant
people.
Of other people. Treat them well.
Yeah. Be kind to one another.
And
bring good gifts.
Be clear. Be a good communicator.
Be a good communicator.
Be a good Christmas communicator or holiday communicator.
And go all in. Fuck
go
it.
all in.
Go
be
all in.
a 10.
Be a 10.
There's no shame in that.
We love that.
Yeah.
All right.
I do. All right, guys, you guys know where to find us. Father Daughter EXP on TikTok and all the other social medias, wherever you listen to your silly little podcasts and beyond. If you guys have any thoughts, comments, or questions or concerns, you can send them to us at fatherdaughtereXP@gmail.com. All right. Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.